The Lakers take a first-round exit to Ant-Man and the Timberwolves in JJ's first year as head coach. Throughout the series, LA was exposed for not having a big man, as Minnesota's Rudy Gobert had playoff career highs with 27 points, 24 rebounds in Game 5. Yesterday, Rob Pelinka addressed the Lakers' off-season plan. Take a listen.
LeBron is a GOAT, one of the GOATs of the game, and he's a completely selfless leader, and I think we saw that in this playoff series, moving to playing more off the ball and committing to the defensive end. And I think it's just a testament to his championship DNA and character. And I think LeBron's going to have high expectations for the roster, and we're going to do everything we can to meet those. But I also know that whatever it is, he's going to still give his 100% every night, whether that's scoring, assisting, defending, rebounding, leading. We know that's going to always be 100%, never wavers.
All right, Rob Pelinka obviously endorsing LeBron. Wendy, what should the Lakers' off-season priority be?
So I've got good news and bad news for the Lakers. The good news is that they have the top-end talent. They have the star players. That's the hardest thing to get. Getting Luka is a transformational moment. You have LeBron, who he was on my second team All-NBA. He averaged 25, 8, and 8 after turning 40 years old.
Same here.
And, obviously he's not going to be there forever, but he's still competing at a very high level. And Austin Reeves finished very strong. The bad news is that they are not just a big man away. They are probably 3.5-ish moves away. They do have the ability to make those moves because they don't have to trade or acquire another star player. But it's going to take some really good maneuvering by the Lakers and by Rob Pelinka over this summer. He's going to have a really good June and July for the Lakers to be making a run at the title next year. Obviously, they need a big man, but they also need athleticism and defense on the perimeter. They were already probably short on that before they traded Max Christie, who helped them in that regard. And they need to build out their roster. They don't have depth. Even if they replace some of the frontline players, they don't have depth. If you look at the teams that are competing to win the whole thing, Cleveland, they play 10. Boston, they have the 6th man of the year. They have 8 or 9 great players. Oklahoma City, they play 10. If you're going to compete...
Willing to do that last year, but then chose he didn't have to do that because they didn't find somebody. I also think that hearing his comments around Austin Reeves was interesting, kind of almost talking about him as like a big three or a pillar. And that's a legitimate asset. I know what they can get as it relates to a big, with their original package of Dalton Knecht and a draft pick. But Austin Reeves probably seems like their best trade asset that can get you some help on the perimeter and get you a bigger return. As it relates to a big, Stephen A., the other day I said it to you, could a guy like Jared Allen, could you find a way to get a guy like Jared Allen as somebody that can actually protect the rim? And then how do you get some youth there and some people that can help with floor spacing that can give you defense on the perimeter and give you shooting that allows Luka to kind of play at that level. But the rim protection, I think, is critical if you're going to build personnel-wise around Luka. He needs that with him being defensively the way he is.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, Rob Pelinka running this organization, as much as we want to be critical of him to some degree, we were applauding him when this deal took place. And the fact that he didn't have to give up more than Anthony Davis in order to get Luka Doncic, even though obviously they gave up Christie as well. But the point is that when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, I think the name that comes to mind is LeBron James. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not just about whether or not he's going to stay, which I firmly believe he will stay. He will return next year, not just to the NBA, but to the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think he's going anywhere else. But the other side to this is this. Clearly, upgrading the conditioning of Luka Doncic is going to go a long way. Well, damn, who's the person that we applaud for being in elite physical condition year after year after year? Who's the guy that's revered for playing about $1.5 million, if not more, on his body every single year just to keep himself healthy? When you talk to anybody that's been around LeBron James, been associated with him in terms of his professionalism, it ain't just on the basketball court, off the court. That brother comes to work every day. I'm talking about working on his body. Well, when you're a leader, unfortunately, you got to get others to do the same. They're certainly making enough. You know, you want to sit up there and you want to be like, listen, you're going to be around me. You got to maximize your potential. No, you cannot be LeBron James, but you know what you can be, Jay? You know what you can be, Wendy? Your absolute best self. You can be somebody that goes about the business of trying to be all you can be instead of being passé about it and nonchalant. If you're a leader, you got to demand that. You got to insist upon that. And I think that considering Luka's potential, if LeBron can't do it, no one can. If he can't get him to do it, no one can. The other thing I will say is this. We got about 4 players. You brought up Austin Reeves. Let me tell you what the problem with Austin Reeves is, Jay, the contract. Because it's beautiful to have because you're only paying him $13 million. But we all know he deserves exponentially more based on the level of production that he's had. So if you're moving him, you're giving somebody else a bargain and giving away the bargain you had. That's problematic, too. What you going to do with Rui Hachimura? You trying to tell me Rui Hachimura ain't worth more than $18 million? That's what he's getting paid next season. He's worth more than that. I'm looking at a Gabe Vincent. He's at 11.5, even though he didn't do much this year. You trying to tell me he's not worth more than 11 in today's NBA economy? I'm looking at that. I'm looking at a Jared Vanderbilt, who Big Perk was talking about should have played, should have been thrown out there. He's at 11.5 million. If you look at these Laker contracts, yeah, they're movable. But because of the relatively low number they're signed on, what's the chances of you getting the equitable compensation that you need in order for the services that you're giving away? I think that's a legitimate question, and I think that's something that Rob Pelinka has to figure out.
Yeah, all I know is it's going to be a busy summer.
Lakers,
Wendy, you're not going to have much time off. Go ahead, last word.
Go ahead, Wendy.
The Lakers do have things they have movable contracts, as you said. They have 1 tradable first-round pick. They have 4 pick swaps, and they have the city of Los Angeles and stars on their roster. This could be done. This is not an insurmountable thing. 2 years ago, the Mavericks missed the playoffs. They knew they had to build out around Luka. They made several mid-level moves and used the draft. Year later, they were in the finals. That's not off the table, but they've got to have a great summer.
No, Wendy, we're not saying that they can't do it. I'm saying because of the price it's costing you, right? When we bring up the first and the second increment, looking at these contracts that are clearly movable, it clearly can be done. I'm saying, is it possible that you might be giving away value? For whatever it is that you're getting in return, it's going to be more costly and possibly not as efficient. That's my concern. I know they can do it, because you got the contracts to move.
Wendy, you can respond quickly.
That's called general managing.
Okay.
There we go. That's why I brought up
We'll leave it there. Wendy, no Paris this summer. Gotta get your croissant stateside. Sorry, buddy. Speaking
That's what
of
you think, Molly. I'll see you in July.
Oh, Jalen Brunson with another clutch shot, adding to the resume. Where does he fall on Steven's A-list? We got top clutch shooters remaining in these playoffs. Okay.
Kênh YouTube của mình nhé. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô màu cho các bạn cùng xem. Và để tô màu được thì mình cần chuẩn bị những dụng cụ như sau. Đây, bên cạnh đây là những sản phẩm mình in sẵn để mình dùng để tô màu. Đây là những con vật, những đồ vật, hoa quả, vân vân. Và mình cần chuẩn bị đó là điện thoại để quay video, một chiếc dán đỡ điện thoại. Và đây là bút sáp màu. Và bây giờ mời các bạn cùng theo dõi quá trình mình tô màu. Và mình mong rằng các bạn hãy ấn like và đăng ký kênh để